This is a tool that my belief is that taking something out of your head, this valuable information, these valuable thoughts, the context of them. I think the big skill now, the big skill in life is perspective. When you change your perspective, you flip something, and very often someone will say, yes, Jamie, that's just a play on words. But the play on words has an impact on how you feel, and that's the only thing that you control. There are some things that you actually have no control of. Certain things right now you have no control of. There are certain things that you have partial control of. And there is only two things that you have total control of. And we're getting right into this one, because the anxiety and the stress and the unproductive feelings come from really focusing attention on what you have no control of. The partial control is, do I have control of that? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It involves somebody else's decision. Sometimes it's mine. But the total control that you have is what you think and how you feel. That's you. That's choice. One of my basketballers recently said, he'd made a mistake in a game, in one of those games where you feel like you should have won. And I said to him, you've spent, and he, by his own admission, he'd spent 4 days replaying the mistake in his head. And I said, you could focus on the game that you played really well, or the times in your career that you've had great shooting games and great defensive games. His mind kind of went there and he was like, yeah, I could. I said, but it's a choice. You're choosing to focus on the mistake. And there's a reason for that, because, in some cases it shows that he cares. In other cases, he feels that's the way to process it. But actually, it's done. It's in the past. And what he has control of is how he thinks and feels. And so that's a choice. And so I'm going to call it a tool, just like this is a tool, just like this is a tool, it's red, this is a tool, it's black. I get to choose, and it's going to do different things. And so this tool is the PlayBook. And the PlayBook it's age old, it's been around for thousands of years. Any book you've read, any scripture or Bible or whatever your religious connotation, any poems, any autobiographies, they are all a playbook. They are somebody's thoughts that have gone into pages. Today that can be podcasts. But they're somebody's thoughts that have gone into a book that you've had the opportunity to read. I want you to flip this, whether you're watching this as a leader, a senior leader, a manager, somebody who works at front desk, somebody who works in the post room. I'm not interested in the level of the organization that you're in, the level of the sport that you play. What I'm interested in is you being able to get those great thoughts out of your head and into a book. And I say this because for many years I've been encouraging, coaching, demanding that players, people write things down. We have at Train Brain, this comes in a like almost like a gift box, and it almost looks like it's come from Harvey Nichols or Selfridges, because we want you to really treasure what you're writing down. It's gold. the good stuff, the not so good stuff. It's gold, and it's called a playbook because it's you designing your world, your year, your life. Somebody asked me recently, why do I really focus on this? Because you're able to look back, and especially imagine looking back on this year and being able to go, wow, look how far we've come. Look how far we've come in 12 months in a crisis. Look how far we've come over the past couple of years when we started this department or the business. And again, breaking it down in sports, career, business, or life, you're able to flick through. But you have to have a process. And this fits into the after section. As I said, you finish your day at work, you finish your performance, and you write it down. And you write it down in a specific way, but you're getting it out of your head. And when it's out of your head, you look at it from a different perspective. When it's out of your head, it creates space. It creates this space for other things. Yeah, you can put it on here. Yeah, capture it on your phone, capture it digitally, capture it through audio. That is also a way. But there's something magical in when you get pen to paper. There's a different connection from a neurological perspective of, the emotion of writing it down. Does it take time? Yes. Does it take effort? Yes. But if you're really asking to do, big things, if you're really asking for your career to go to a different level, if you're really asking for life to be different, then you have to do something different. And that's when, again, it's back to the simplicity. You're asking for something to change, but you're not willing to do the work for it to change. And this is doing the work. This is practice. This is the new skill. If you're the surgeon, you spent years honing your craft. If you're the tennis player, you spent years honing that serve. And it's no different in your workplace. It's approaching it like it's a skill. And the playbook, I'm going to give you the tool in a second, but this is part of nurturing yourself. This is for you. I think I mentioned previously is that I've been writing stuff down and capturing for many years now. And it's not really just for me. Yes, it's a great well-being tool, but it's also, I'm not going to be here forever. My son or daughters are they're going to one day read that dad was recording a video for for this group to apply to their work life, to apply to their personal life. They're going to be able to read that. And specifically, I found this book. I'm glad I found it recently, but there's a deeper exercise that I call the sat nav exercise, and this book here, it says the starting book. This was a blank book 10 years ago, July 2010. This book is from. In fact, here, 16th of July 2010, and I started writing in this book based on a corporate talk. And I said, you got to start having the honest conversations with yourself. And I remember floating out of myself and looking at myself and thinking, I actually said I'm doing a talk, imagine the situation, it was for BMW. And I said, it's about stop having chats and having honest conversations. And I floated out of myself and I looked at myself and I said, if you say that to a group one more time and don't have that conversation with yourself, I'm gonna punch you. And I kind of floated out of myself and I was like, whoa. And that night after the conference, I went to bed. I woke up at early hours of the morning and literally wrote 10 pages in this book of brutal honesty. Here it is. I found it recently, okay? And I can look back at that year, and I can look back at a decade of how far I've come, the challenges, what I've learned, because I've captured it. Some interesting things in there. But what I want to encourage you to explore, and I'm sure you've done this at different parts and chapters of your life, parts of your life. But what I want to bring it back to, and this gets you going. This gets you going. I call this the Daily 8. The Daily 8. So you're going to reflect and write down these 8 things. So first 3 are, you're going to write down the 3 best things that have happened to you in the day. They don't have to be, world changing. It could be you helped a lady across the street, you made a great phone call today with somebody, your presentation was great on Zoom. It could be your son or daughter have done something in their online learning. You had a great conversation with your partner or your significant other. It doesn't have to be world shattering, but it's the 3 best things. If you're a goalkeeper, it's your 3 best catches. If you're a tennis player, your 3 best serves. Whatever it is, it's 1, 2, 3. You write down the 3 best things of the day. The next 3 are stop, keep, start. What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to keep doing? What do I need to start doing? You write those down. Brutal honesty. And the last 2, enjoy and learn. What did I enjoy today? What did I enjoy about today? And what did I learn or discover? You see, as an example, if you listen to a podcast, you listen to somebody's podcast, you read an article, for some people, they actually just read that and it's like, okay, well, I'm supposed to do that. But actually, you read that and you write down what did you discover and you capture that. And that's here. What did I learn today? Well, I learned this. Might have been a meeting. What did you learn from the meeting? So this is the Daily 8. What this will also encourage you to do, especially these 3, what are the 3 best things? You might not have had 3 of the best things that happened to you in the day, but actually what you're going to do is you're going to, it's gonna force you to go, well, what can I do in the day that's going to contribute to the 3 best things of the day. So that's the Daily 8. Are you going to do it every day? I guess, life will get in the way, but the focus, the intention is, can I do this daily? And the shift that you'll have in writing things down, getting things out of your head, creating that space, creating that clarity, it's not just an exercise for the sake of doing an exercise. Nothing will change if you do it for a day or for a week. But if you get consistent with it over a period of time, you'll start to feel and think differently.